These are the top 10 players in the Premier League right now based on form. If you've got any objections, leave your comments down below. At number 10, I have to put in Kelleher. Now, obviously, Liverpool are top of the table. They haven't got the perfect defensive record in the Premier League in the last few weeks. They've conceded a few goals. But Kelleher's come in, one clean sheet in 4, big saves against Brighton. Actually, it feels like there's a level of continuity since Alisson's injury. And you feel that Arne Slot's form since coming into Liverpool has been allowed to continue because of Kelleher's brilliance, in my opinion. He's a fantastic understudy. Obviously, he's not top 10 players in the league in general, but based on form in the last 6 weeks, Liverpool's form could easily have dipped if it wasn't for Kelleher. And you look at some of the saves he actually made last week against Brighton. They were Alisson-esque. He's a fantastic keeper, and I think he's kept Liverpool's momentum. He's kept continuity, and that's all you can ask for in a deputy keeper. Next up, number 9, Gvardiol, a left back. He's outscoring strikers that play for Arsenal. Let's be completely real. He's the second highest scorer at Man City. Man City still, despite poor form, let's be completely real, some really, really poor form in the last few weeks. You have to put a Man City player in there somewhere. Second in the table. Did really well at the start of the season. Gvardiol is scoring big goals, continuing that form from last season as well. And I think defensively as well, he never gets beat. He never looks like he's in a hurry. He never looks like he's panicked or he's sprinting backwards. The telltale sign for me when a defender is a little bit out of it, especially in Premier League kind of matches and the intensity of the Premier League, is when they're running back headless chicken style. And Saliba's one of those players that's got his calmness about him. Rio Ferdinand back in the day never looked like he was sprinting, never looked like he was desperate. And Gvardiol does never look like a desperate defender. Fantastic. And ultimately, you can build your defence around him, even in the future, where I think he has to be a centre-back. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Next up, I've put in Diaz. I can't put him much higher, but I have to throw in a couple of Liverpool players over anyone else, really, because of the form that this Liverpool side are in. 5 goals, 2 assists. And I tweeted yesterday, based on the Champions League form that he showed against Leverkusen, I think he's a better winger than Saka. I really do. I think he takes players on. His goal record's fantastic. Saka's probably got an extra year on him because of Diaz's injury. But I think if Diaz stays fit, he will end the season more likely to be a Premier League champion than Saka. If they both stay fit, Diaz is more likely to be a Premier League champion, in my opinion. He's been ripping it up even since it was the goal against Brentford, wasn't it, where he absolutely smashes it into the top left of the net. He's been in unbelievable form. I have to put him in the top 10 somewhere. I will be putting some graphics in future videos. So if you like this type of content, make sure you give it a like and I'll add some graphics. Aina at Nottingham Forest, 7 goals conceded, one of the best defensive units in the Premier League. He has been instrumental. He's played 10 games this season, 7 goals conceded. It's outrageous. So many clean sheets, a clean sheet against Liverpool. And as a right back, he's in this kind of his prime years where he's bombing forward, he's whipping things in, and he scored an unbelievable goal against West Ham. Nottingham Forest caught me off guard. I thought they were going to get relegated. Maybe I was praying a little bit because I feel like they were drying out the Premier League for the last couple of seasons. But whatever you say about Nuno, he's created a foundation where they're so defensively solid. They can obviously turn into a back 5 at points. They've been in a 4 as well. And Aina's got this... it could have been anyone in the back 4. Even the keeper for Forest. They've all been fantastic. Murillo could have been in there as well. But you have to throw in Aina for the goal. The goal against West Ham was unbelievable. And Nottingham Forest absolutely bullied a side that a couple of years ago would have expected to go to Forest ground and really beat them and batter them. And West Ham could barely get a kick at the ball, really. Had a few chances. But Forest's back line is so stingy. And they're currently 3rd in the table. And it's nearly Christmas. People are wrapping up their Christmas presents. And Forest are 3rd in the table. It's a very... doesn't matter. Even if they come 10th from now on, they've had a run that is very, very good. They're now secure for another season in the Premier League. The run is so good. They've got 19 points. You don't have to do much now. For Forest fans, they'll be hoping they can obviously keep momentum going. But Aina's a huge part of that, and Aina has to go in. I have to put in Cole Palmer ahead of Aina. I know he's fallen off a little bit in terms of the sheer numbers of goals that he was getting. You could argue Man United really locked him up at Old Trafford. I thought he was occupying some very strange, wide positions at Old Trafford. But the form that he's displayed, Cole Palmer, one of the highest scorers and / assisters in the league. His total play is of an unbelievable level. I'm tweeting nearly every week that he's the best player in the world. I think sometimes football can be a game of short memories because of the Man United result, you're not necessarily thinking about him in the best form, but he is unbelievable. And on the weekend, you could imagine him doing unbelievable stuff against Arsenal and scoring big goals. He's so good he could get a hat-trick against Arsenal. He really could. You have to throw him in above Aina, but if this was a couple of weeks ago, I'd be talking about Cole Palmer right at the end of the video. Ahead of him is Danny Welbeck, 6 goals, 2 assists in the league so far. It feels that he can score free kicks. It feels that he can contribute in so many other ways than just being a poacher. I remember his time at Manchester United, he always felt a little bit clunky, not the smoothest dribbler. But if you actually strip back the aesthetic quality of Danny Welbeck, you could argue there isn't much of an aesthetic quality when he's carrying the ball. He actually is a very, very smart footballer. The way he can flick a ball around the corner. He can sort of play things first time. He's good in the air. Again, he's got the free kick ability. I think he makes every single forward player for Brighton better. And Hertz has been able to come in as a very, very young manager, probably the same age as Danny Welbeck, and has been able, or younger than Danny Welbeck, and has been able to use his Premier League experience and doing very, very well at Brighton. The fact that they're 8th, there's been no mad swing since De Zerbi left. A massive part of it has been Danny Welbeck. He's been the best player by a country mile. I think he's on slightly better form than some of the other players that I've talked about. Mbeumo ahead of him, joint 2nd highest scorer in the Premier League. You look back at Ivan Toney's time at Brentford, I think a large part of Ivan Toney's success, a large part of why he's now the highest English footballer paid in European football, in world football, is because of Mbeumo, because of his movement in and around Toney, because of his assists, his crossing ability. And then you now look at him being the main man at Brentford. Brentford, a side that are always going to be in and around mid-table. A lot of sides thought, a lot of people thought they were going to be relegated this season, but Mbeumo's been carrying them. A late winner against Ipswich was absolutely huge for Brentford. It's not going to be maybe as dazzling as Ivan Toney, but Mbeumo goes right under the radar. And FPL lovers, they love Mbeumo. He's guaranteed goals for many, many seasons now. You do wonder, when will he get his big move away from Brentford? Because he'll be looking at Ivan Toney on 400 grand a week, and he'll be thinking, I'm showing form now in the Premier League for so many seasons. For what must be 4 years he's been at this level, 3 or 4 years. And fair play to him, because he's one of the informed players in the Premier League right now. I have to do a Bournemouth player. They've been in scintillating form. Defensively, actually a little bit underrated. Yes, Semenyo's been scoring some great goals, and a few other players going forward for them. But I have to throw in Kerkez. This kid is outrageous. He can have the athleticism to bomb forward. He got 2 assists. His only 2 assists in the league this season against Man City. His delivery is fantastic. I think positionally he's very, very smart. I think Areola deserves a massive amount of credit for not only losing Dominic Solanke in the summer. Lloyd Kelly was a big part of the Bournemouth side as well. But replacing Lloyd Kelly with Kerkez is unbelievable. This kid will be playing for Man City, Arsenal, or Liverpool in the next couple of years. He's that good. I think he's got the highest ceiling of almost anyone at the club at Bournemouth, except maybe Antoine Semenyo. He is in unbelievable form. He literally ripped City a new one down the left-hand side for Bournemouth. And he's been doing it consistently in the league this season. I have to throw him in there. That's how good he is. He's a left-back. He's going in ahead of the likes of Mbeumo, etc. So that's him at number 3. Number 2, I have to put in Chris Wood. I thought he was a lump like everyone else. I did. I thought he was a lump, joint 2nd highest scorer in the Premier League. He's scoring a lot of tap-ins. Let's be real. His link-up play, when I talk about Danny Welbeck, I talk about Mbeumo, even Luis Diaz, Cole Palmer. Look, Chris Wood's not of that caliber. He's not linking up play in the same way. He's a smart footballer, holds the ball up very well. But he's that Kevin Davies type lump in the box, but he's a very cute finisher, very, very subtle finisher on his day. Good in the air. He's exceptional in the air. The finish against West Ham, I know it must have been 8 yards out, but it was a very hard finish to get down into the ground. And I think he's a very, very good footballer, seasoned professional. He must be in the form of his life. Let's be completely real. Forest are 3rd. They're being banged up the table because of him. If his goals dry up, and you could justifiably argue that he shouldn't be scoring as many as he is based on his level, let's be honest, not trying to be nasty. He's in the form of his life. Without his form, Nottingham Forest are just mid-table with their defensive record. They really are. So he's bringing a spark to a massive football club in Forest, and he's scoring goals consistently week in, week out. You have to throw him in at number 2. But number 1, I think it's Mohamed Salah. Every week, he's getting either a goal or an assist. He's carrying Liverpool to the top of the table where they currently sit upon recording this video. The goal against Brighton, I still can't get my head around it. The way he's carrying the ball, He's smashing it top bins under pressure as well. Liverpool needed that goal against Brighton. They really needed it to get maximum points. He's there every week. There's an argument if it continues on this level, which it could easily do with Salah. We've seen it multiple times where he's not a up and down player. You could see him scoring, and he's got 7 goals, 6 assists, I think, or 5 assists this season. If that carries out a trajectory, you could see him arguably being in his best form ever. You really could. And there are about 4 or 5 seasons where you could justifiably say he's been the best player in the league or the best right winger in the league for 4 or 5 years. And even now, he's at that level. So I have to put in Salah at number 1. I think he's the most dangerous footballer in European football. I really do. Both him and Diaz. And Arne Slot is very, very lucky to have both of them fit, smashing sides week in, week out. The quality of what he can do on the ball is outrageous. So for me at the moment, Mohamed Salah is the best player in the league on form. Have I missed anyone out? I've probably missed out a few Arsenal players, but that's just their form. Maybe Spurs, maybe Villa. But you have to let me know in the comments down below.